All right. Thank you for coming this evening, and we'll call this evening's meeting of the Planning Commission to order. We will start with an invocation, so please bow your head. Heavenly Father, we thank you for all you have given us and the many blessings in our lives. We ask for your guidance and strength. Show us the way and fill us with courage and wisdom. Help us to remember your love and grace and to be faithful in our service to you. Give us the patience and understanding to face life's challenges with grace. We ask these things in your name. Amen.
Amen.
All right, moving along to the approval of minutes from our February meeting. Everyone has gotten their packets. Does anybody see anything that needs to be changed?
I move that they be approved as read.
Second that.
Move and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, so we will move along. Any addenda to the agenda?
No, sir, not at this time.
We will move along to the public hearing portion and start with ANX 24-1.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. You can see the aerial view of the parcel in question. It's outlined in red here. Crestview Road runs kind of diagonally across the right side of the screen. You can see Harriet Circle coming at the other opposite angle along here. Midway School, elementary school, is right here. Everybody know and understand where we are?
Yes, sir.
The only other thing I would add is what is in pink is currently within the city limits. Everything that's not shaded is in the county.
Okay.
The applicant proposes to annex the subject property consisting of approximately 43 acres total into the city limits to construct a single-family subdivision and several out-parcel lots with Midway road frontage. So again, just to orient you, here's Midway and those lots will be here. We'll see them in a minute. The requested zoning is for PDD, Planned Development District, which will apply to 40 acres and will be called the Grove at Midway. The Grove will have a maximum of 94 lots. Lots with Midway frontage, approximately 3 acres total, will not be part of the PDD and will be zoned R20 single-family residential. So the area is in a strategic growth area for the city of Anderson. Fire Station number 3, our newest, will serve this area. City sewers are already in the area along with schools, and I mentioned Midway, and other city services supporting adjacent neighborhoods. SCDOT has plans to construct 2 traffic circles, as you can see here, and realign Harriet Circle in this area. Public comments on this project will close the middle of this month. I believe it's the 15th. And then right-of-way acquisition will be completed by mid-2025. It is our understanding, the city's understanding, that only one landowner is needed, they need to negotiate with. So we don't think that this is going to take the entire year for that phase. Construction is scheduled, again, on this schedule, is scheduled to start in mid-2025 with completion in mid-2027. The city is working with SCD to encourage them to accelerate the schedule. It is important to note that no house construction is anticipated in this PDD prior to the 2027 date. So staff recommends, with consent from the applicant, approval of the application with the following additions to the PDD document. 1, a traffic impact study to focus on the ingress, egress be completed during the plan review process. And 2, the entrance exit to the subdivision will have 3 lanes with 1 lane entry and 2 exit lanes. So a left turn and a right turn coming out to accelerate ingress, egress. Are there any questions from staff,
Any questions for staff right now? Did we receive phone calls on this
We have received several.
Okay, favor, against?
I would
Or
say
just
against,
questioning?
balance against.
Okay. All right. Any other questions for staff? Hearing none, would we like to have questions of the applicant at this time? If the applicant would step forward and just state your name and what the plans are.
Yeah, my apologies.
I'm James Curtis. We're excited about this development. Tried to go with a little bit larger lot size. We have preserved, you can see in the area down there, a nice area for this going to function as an amenity, as a park type area where we've preserved some of the trees down there. We think it's going to be a nice addition to what's going on out that direction. And you know, we're just excited about the project, and I'm happy to answer any questions you got.
So there's no change on Midway Road. It's just those two parcels are going to be R20, is that correct?
Correct, yeah, those will be zoned R20.
Okay.
We just opted, I mean, for a couple of reasons. We thought from traffic, we didn't want them to, we didn't want to become a cut through, if that made any sense. So we just felt like that was the better area to preserve and keep natural space there.
Okay. And then staff updated that you were going to have a traffic study as well as a entrance and exit.
Right, yeah, what we
lanes.
talked about, it was really just kind of happened after we got the PDD in place, but
Okay.
just through conversations, and we'd already talked about, you know, we would look at a traffic impact study to make sure that, and have the two-turn leaving the neighborhood, a right exit, right and a left.
Okay. Any other questions for applicant? One question that did come up, I don't know if, you know, if there are any developments, I know you've done several, is there any state law saying there has to be 2 points of entrance and egress? And
There's no state, I know in the county, it has to do on anything above 100 lots.
Okay.
With 2 points of egress. So, you know, in this situation, we're below that threshold.
And also having the 3 lanes is going to help that out a little bit. just
Right.
Being able to get in and out. All right. Thank you. And it looks like we might have some folks here that would be wanting to talk in opposition. So if anyone who's in opposition to this would like to come forward, state your name. And we do ask that we'd only have, in our bylaws, it says 15 minutes for this time. And then also, just so try and be cognizant of not saying the same things as the person in front of you. So if someone would like to come forward and state their name and their address, please.
Bear with me, I'll get out of it.
Yes, sir.
My name is Larry Smith. I live at 2910 Midway Road. I live right at the intersection of Oak Hill Drive and Midway Road. The biggest concern that I have with this project going in over there on the Greer property that is instated now is the water problem going into Bailey Creek. The project that is already going on Oak Hill Drive and at the intersection of Midway Road and Crestview, there's already water coming down Oak Hill Drive so much that you can tell that the mud is already coming across the road there in Midway. And already there on my property itself, the amount of water, and I know that we have had some tremendous rains here lately, but the amount of water that has been diverted down Oak Hill Drive onto Midway Road, you've got 4 ditches that are emptying in to a culvert there on Midway Road and Oak Hill Drive. And at times, the culvert that is coming under Midway Road cannot take the water as it is. And I'm afraid that if they put in this subdivision, that the water will continue down Bailey Creek, because I understand that the county has already had to come out on Bailey Creek and place some rock along Bailey Creek to where it's been flooding out along the right-of-way of the sewer line. Now, the sewer line comes on down to my property and comes across the back of my property, but I noticed this past week that the amount of water coming down that creek now was almost to the top of the sewer line culvert things that they big up there. It was within 6 inches of the top of it. And so that's a tremendous amount of water already coming down through there. So what is going to be constructed to maintain the water that is coming down Bailey Creek? Because I know they've already got huge catch ponds, but one up on Crestview now, if you look at the catch pond, there's so much mud in it already that when it overflows, it's just flooding out the people down below it. And I cannot understand how the area is going to be able to access all of this traffic that is going to be thrown on these 3 roads. I know that there's some cul-de-sacs that is proposed by the state that's going to be there on Harriet Circle and Crestview. I understand that they've got the going to have a meeting on that, but I'm not sure when that's going to be. But like I said, my main concern is already the water that is coming down Bailey Creek. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Smith. Chris, if I could ask staff, so the water issue on this kind of down from this, but it's kind of asking about Bailey Creek and the creek that runs through that property. I guess engineering has been done or will be done prior to?
Well, yes, once they have approval, they'll begin engineering drawings for this subdivision. And they have, as you can see here, the areas in blue are detention ponds, and they will have to meet requirements from the state and from our engineering department to make sure that they keep the erosion to a minimum. There'll be silt fences, things like that, catch basins.
Okay.
I have a question for staff. Does someone monitor the construction as it's occurring with
Yes.
regards to erosion?
Yes, ma'am, our engineering department does.
Your engineering department? And how
Or
often
will.
do they check on it?
You know, I don't know the frequency. When it's under construction, it's weekly, I believe. Weekly?
Yeah. So basically, we're going to pass Mr. Smith's concerns on for that other.
Yeah, we'll
Okay.
notify our stormwater engineer and city engineer about his concerns, and they'll be contacting him.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
All right, so continuing on with ANX 24-1, is there anyone else in opposition? Yes, sir. If you'll come forward and state your name and address.
My name is Richard Shambly. I grew up on Crestview Road. My mother still owns property at 1421 Crestview Road. And then I have a 1.5 acre lot sitting there empty, right next door to the Greer property. My concern is Crestview Road, Harriet Circle, Oak Hill Drive are falling apart with the traffic you have on them now. And you're talking about putting more and more. I assume the access is into Crestview, because you can't see that up there, back here. We can't see those back here.
So Crestview is right here, if you can see it up on the screen as well.
Okay?
Crestview is at the
I own
top.
that lot right
Yes,
there,
sir.
and my mother owns property right there.
Yes, sir. So the entrance is onto Crestview. Yes, sir, that's correct.
Crestview Road, when I was growing up, was called a farm-to-market road, where the farmers sent their goods to town to sell. It has not been improved significantly since then. It's falling apart right now. Half the traffic that comes up and down through Crestview Road is over the edge of the road, breaking up the edge. I sat out there yesterday. Even the school buses, that quite a number are going through there because of Midway Elementary, Northview Middle, Hannah. If they're in the road, they're over the center line. To stay in to the left of center line, they're hanging over the road. We get 18-wheelers, dump trucks, trash trucks. That road became heavily populated when the East-West Parkway was opened. It's a cut-through, and it is not built for the amount of traffic that is got on it now. As I say, I started to bring you a gift, pick up part of it, because every time I go out there, I have to pick up loose asphalt from the road. And the other question I'm going to ask that I haven't heard anybody address is schools. Has anybody talked to School District 5 about putting more and more kids out there? You're building hundreds of homes out there now on the K property, the Kowalski property, which I forget how many hundreds of homes are going in there. Where are all these kids going to school? Because I've talked to teachers in these schools. They're full. They're full. And there's nothing that I've heard from the school district about adding capacity. The only school I've heard that's not full is the elementary school over on 81. Hannah's close to full. I know Midway's full. I've heard that Northview's full. Talking to teachers, not administrators, talk to the teachers. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Shanley. And I will address, we've brought up the roads several times with all the activity that's going on between the Harriet Circle and everything else. It is kind of a, I hate to use the word kick the can issue, but everybody's saying that it's Department of Transportation, but this is very much a local issue at
Well,
this
it's
point.
city, county, and state roads all involved in it.
Correct.
And you've got to get a group together in one room.
Yes.
And lock the door and come up with a solution. I know the county has no plans for Crestview Road right now.
Yeah.
And it is, like I say, falling apart.
So I do know that I brought it up with my city council person in this district about the crumbling roads and just what we're going to do about it. So if I will say, come to the city council meeting, because there is, and then for the schools, one of the city council members is on the school board.
Right.
So they can answer that question more than this
understand.
dais can.
But it's, how much more are we going to do?
Exactly.
If you go on further out Midway Road, the county's got approved multiple subdivisions. So the traffic coming in on Midway,
Mr. Shanley, I will say the private dollar is moving faster than the public dollar, and that's the biggest issue right now.
at some point it's got to stop.
Exactly. Thank you, Mr. Shanley. Anyone else? Yes, sir. Come forward, state your name and address.
Thank you for the opportunity. Tom Thompson, 3032 Midway Road, and I probably have more questions than real concerns. So maybe start with the questions first. Do we have any idea of the size of the lots? How much of an acre?
Yes, so, let's see,
The lots are 8,000 square foot, minimum average is 10,000 square feet.
Is it, you don't know what that is in an acre, do you? I'm sorry, I'm not familiar with square
no,
foot.
it's
Quarter acre.
quarter.
About a quarter acre?
Quarter acre.
Okay, all right. And do we have any idea of the square footage, minimum square footage, or the square footage size and the value of the homes?
I think the value of the homes will be in the 450 to 550 and up range.
Okay, very nice. Very
So
nice. Okay.
price range is around 450.
Sir? They'll be slabs.
Slab homes.
Elevated slabs that meet the standard of the city.
Elevated slab homes, all right.
Yeah, and I guess my concern would be is the traffic on Crestview. I struggle with how people living in this new subdivision are going to be able to turn left coming out of it. And I know, like I've been to several of the council meetings too, and everybody just thinks these traffic circles are going to save the world. Well, I went to the meeting a week ago at Anna, and I had done some research on my own, looking at studies at how much efficiency gain you get from a traffic circle versus a four-way stop. And I don't know if you all are familiar with that or not, but I was really surprised to learn that there isn't that much efficiency gain. It's up to 20%, but that's at low to mid peak traffic. And when it's heavy traffic, there's actually no gain in efficiency. So, you know, I think about 8 o'clock in the morning when that school traffic's out there, how in the world are these people going to be able to turn left out of this subdivision? And I just think there's a false hope that these traffic circles are going to save the world, you know, and I just don't see it. I think they're going to be, I'm all for traffic circles. I think they're going to be good 80% of the time, but when we really have problems in the morning and in the afternoon, you're going to be, you know, they're going to be stuck there because traffic's backed up all the way to Hammond. Is it Hammond School Road? The road, the cut-through road there, and it's a mess. The other traffic concern I have, and I don't know that it's so much around this subdivision or not, but it'll certainly add more traffic to the area, is the four-way stop on Oak Hill and what is that street?
Harriet
Circle. Thank you. If you ever come through there at about 2:30 when Midway's letting out, it actually locks that four-way down. I don't know if you're aware of that. So what happens, and I've been guilty of this too, and shouldn't do it, but because people get stopped, people cut around them through the four-way stop. It is a nightmare, incredibly dangerous, and it'll lock up, just completely locks up, and there's no, from my understanding, there's no plans to do anything with that intersection, and this is almost a drop in the bucket compared to the other subdivisions that are going in, but when you get all these, 700 new homes about in this area between all the developments that have been approved, it's going to be I don't know, I'm very concerned that it's going to be a real safety issue, and traffic movement in the morning and the afternoon is going to be a real problem.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Thompson. Yeah, so I will say that, again, between the roads and the traffic, that concern has been brought up several times with the different PDDs that have come before us. You know, this one, I would probably think is maybe 2 years away from where the first house is probably going to be built.
Yeah, but the traffic circle is 2 to 3, right? So.
Yeah, correct. So again, like I said, the private dollar is moving faster than the public dollar.
Well, and the other comment I'd make there, and not against you at all, you know, bless your hearts, you guys do the best you can, but I've been to these meetings for about 5 years, and every meeting I go to, even 5 years ago, it was always 2 years away. Yeah,
Correct.
Traffic circle's gonna be there in 2 years, and then 2 years later, we have another one of these meetings, oh, it's coming in a year and a half, 2 years. And it's still, every time we talk about it, it's 2 or 3 years out.
Correct. And
These things
the,
never happen on time.
the Department of Transportation, I will say, the first time we heard about the traffic circles, it was supposed to be done this year. So I agree with your frustration and hope, feel it as well, having teenagers and pick up from school and everything else. So I understand that
And
frustration.
if I could just add,
Yes.
staff in the city are as concerned with that delay too, and have expressed that to SCDOT. And in my introduction to the project, we're doing everything we can to move this project forward as quickly as possible.
Is there, with the new chairperson for the SCDOT committee being from Anderson, is there any way to push that a little bit more in this upstate?
I just think that, I mean, I own the right of way that they need.
Yeah, just, we'll go ahead and use this time.
Sorry. I own the right of way that they need to put the traffic circles in.
Okay,
We have been pushing, we've wanted the traffic circles from the day we broke ground. Okay,
Correct.
we're on board with it. They've allowed a year for, with this last schedule that these guys just presented to you, they've allowed a year for right-of-way acquisition. I do not see why it should take longer than a couple of months. We're a willing participant. We want these. We offered to build them, and get reimbursement after the fact for we're very much on board with the traffic circle. Maurice is familiar with this. We designed our entire project around these, back 4 or 5 years. So
Correct.
I promise you, we're as frustrated. We've been pushing them as hard as anybody else can. We're ready to see them happen as well. And whatever we can do to help expedite that process, we're going to do that.
okay.
So, but
me ask you a
I
question.
can't imagine, unless the DOT keeps dragging and I don't control them, that the right-of-way acquisition should take very long at all, because we're ready to make it happen as well.
All right.
Since you're up here, there's gonna be some wrecks there at Crestview. And that means the people who are in the subdivision, they can't get out or can't get in. Is there any way you could have, another entrance on Midway Road?
So, no, and the traffic engineers will not allow that anyways. Otherwise, we would become a cut-through. That's what we spoke about, but no, it would, and plus the roundabout, the new roundabout that's proposed is coming in over there. I don't think we would get an egress over in that area. And our concern is that people would be zipping through the neighborhood
Correct.
to try to, beat the roundabout, if you will.
Correct. Any other questions for the applicant?
Well, I'm not sure the roundabout can handle it unless it's a double. That's just a cheap way of not fixing the road, building 4 lanes.
So I've expressed early on in the process, I expressed the exact same concerns with the DOT and whatever. I have been reassured on multiple occasions by folks that know more about it than I do, that this is a great solution. And it's I think one of the things, if you look at how the plan where Harriet Circle, how it comes, I think part of the thing that's going to benefit is you're going to reverse some of the traffic flow, because, honestly, the traffic problem is not a housing problem, it's a school problem, okay? And I live in that community. My kids went to Midway, Glenview, and Teal-Hanna High School, so I'm very familiar. That's my neighborhood, okay? And so I'm familiar with it, but it's a lot of when I have my wife dropping one off at Midway and then trying to get another one over to Glenview and whatever, that's what, it's certain times of day that you have that. But I think that with the new traffic routing, I think you're going to see some of the Midway traffic is probably going to go a different route. So I hope that'll leave some of that. I think you'll get, if they're going from Midway back to Hannah, I think they're going to use Oak Hill instead of coming back down and going through 2 roundabouts, but we'll see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So, thank you.
Yep.
Is there any more we need to hear from? Yes, sir, Mr. Smith.
Between the Kowalski property and the Mr. Cave's property and this one here, how many houses is going to be built within that 1 mile or 2 mile radius right there?
Was it,
I think I can answer that question.
Okay.
It's just over 500
Okay.
homes in this area here, not the 700 that had previously been mentioned.
okay,
All right, if you've got 500 homes being built right in that general area right there, each home is gonna have at least 2 automobiles, some 3 and some 4, depending on how many kids they got driving. Now, between the time at 7:30 or 7:55, when the school is open, if you're there at 8 o'clock, you're late. That means that most of those kids is gonna have to get up at 5:30, 6 o'clock or better, be able to get their parents to get them to school on time. Because there's gonna be so many cars coming into that one area right there that you're not gonna be able to get through and make it on time. You're gonna be like Atlanta. You're gonna be sitting at a stop sign or a roundabout for 2 hours trying to get through. I mean, that's just
So-
ridiculous.
so with the traffic study, will that answer those kind of questions with what we're talking about? You know, it'll be a while before there are 500 homes, but will the traffic study bring that into,
So I don't think the traffic study will extend out as far as that development. I think it would be focused mostly on, I'm sorry, just left me, Crestview.
but it will be Crestview to Midway, like where the
Yes.
roundabout is and everything else?
Yes,
What,
but
And
not
will-
to, I
from
don't think
the-
it's going to go
From the
as far to
traffic
the
study,
school.
will there be, will they propose to DOT whether they need to add to these roads, make it anything 4-lane or turn
That
lanes?
is my understanding,
Okay.
yes.
All right. All right.
sir, one more thing.
Yes, sir, Mr. Smith.
Before they even started construction on the projects that they got going now, on school days and or the mornings and afternoons, traffic would back up from Midway Road all the way to Old Williamston Road, and you couldn't get through there. Same thing from Crestview all the way to 81. It would back up. There's no way that you could get through there. And you throw these houses in there, you're gonna have one major hell of a problem.
I do understand that traffic will be an issue, and what we're stating is with the traffic study
one
as
other
well
question.
as,
Fire departments, which fire departments is gonna take care of it, and which is the closest one? Because these houses being built so close together, that if one catches a fire, every one of them will burn.
Fire Department 3, the newest fire department on Simpson Road, is the one that will handle that area.
And if I might add to that, there is studies being done for an additional fire station on the east-west connector
Yes.
in that area, so that they would be able to hop on over if there is an issue in this area.
Okay, thank you.
Just a clarification on the number of houses. The 500 does not include this proposal, right?
Right.
So there'd be 600 roughly?
Roughly.
Yes.
Yes, so you are correct, Mr. Thompson, yes, so it'd be the 94 here, so a little under 600. All right. Yes, sir, Mr. Chambley?
I need to show you something. Can you get me to the, Caesar?
What do you need to go to?
Show my property, you had it before. Keep going, yeah, right there, okay. How do I?
No, I'll do it for you.
Right here, over here, right to the right edge of the thing. That's my mother's property.
Yes.
I go out there and work, clean up yard. 2 weeks ago, getting ready to leave. Not during school time. It took me 5 minutes to get out of my mother's driveway and into Crestview, just from the traffic that's going through there now.
Okay.
It is nonstop. 5 minutes to get out of that driveway.
Okay, and
And that's the same thing you're gonna run into with the access for this proposed development.
well, and that's what the traffic study will hopefully answer, and then hopefully they can look for.
Try to mitigate.
Trying to, yeah, mitigate it and not
Gotta
have
find a
this
way to
as a
get the
farm,
traffic
as a
over.
farm road, but have it as a, more of a city road.
He was talking about backup. It backs up to my mother's driveway, which is from here, all the way at the right there, you know, down to the four-way. In the morning, or primarily in the afternoon, when it goes back, you know,
Yeah.
it backs up that far, crawling.
Okay, thank you. All right, so moving along, would someone like to make a motion for ANX 24-1?
I make a motion, we approve the annexation.
Motion that we approve annexation. Is there a second?
Second.
Second from Kerry. Any more discussion? Is there, so the motion is that we approve, but we also want to put in where we want it noted where there will be a traffic study as well as the entrance and exit for the
Would
3
you like
lanes.
would you like me to go over that staff's recommendation one more time?
Yes.
Okay. Staff recommends with consent from the applicant, approval with the following additions to the PDD document. Traffic impact study to focus on ingress, egress, to be completed during the plan review process. And 2, the entrance exit to the subdivision will have 3 lanes, 1 entry lane and 2 exit lanes. That would be a left turn, right turn, to adequate address ingress and egress from the development.
All right. So, motion that we approve with those caveats. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? All right, so this will move forward to City Council, ANX 24-1, and it'll be
Next meeting.
March 11th.
Oh,
So-
yeah, March 11th.
All right, so if anyone, we're going to take a brief recess between ANX 24-1 for anyone who does not want to stay for RZ 24-4. So we'll take about a 3-minute recess for anyone who would like to leave. Conversation out into the lobby, that would be great, so we can move forward. Folks, if we could, if anybody's wanting to leave, if we could move out into the hallway so that we can continue business. Thank you.
We're working with them about that as well. Because they don't want to. Yeah, thank you.
All right, so we will move forward with staff report for RZ 24-4.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This application is for consideration of changes to the development ordinance. The official zoning ordinance was adopted in 1998 and amended last year. And you'll remember those amendments, complete changes to Article 12 and 13. PDD, I'm sorry. The proposal is to revise Section 10-11 of the zoning ordinance that addresses the minimum acreage required for various types of planned development districts. The proposed changes to the minimum standards are as follows. So in order to do a PDD district, you need a minimum of 5 acres currently if you're doing a planned residential development. This proposal would drop that requirement to 3 acres. The planned mobile home development, which currently needs 5 acres, would be deleted. What we're doing here is a mobile home development could be accomplished in a planned residential development, so there's no need to repeat that in this table. The planned commercial development currently requires 10 acres and would be dropped down to 5 acres. The planned industrial development currently is required 25 acres and would be unchanged. The recommendation is for approval. The recommendation is for approval. The proposed revisions increase the flexibility in the current ordinance to encourage infill development that is consistent with the city's development strategies. Staff recommends approval with the proposed revisions to section 10 to 11 of the zoning ordinance.
Any questions for staff? I understand, the getting rid of planned mobile home developments inside the city. So if there is one currently that's grandfathered in, everything else. Why the need to, and then also the planned residential development, make it to where it's a little bit, you can have a smaller area and have a PDD? Why the planned commercial development coming down? Is that?
So I think across the board, these PDDs allow more flexibility, excuse me, and they allow the city to be involved in the planning to set those development requirements so they can address specific needs in certain areas. And the hope is also that this will encourage those PDDs because it's attractive to developers, and the city can encourage infill development instead of expanding outward, helps to make us a more compact community. Okay. If that makes sense.
So smaller lot sizes that are inside the city that kind of are not attractive because of.
Right.
They can be a little more attractive because it's a little smaller. Okay. That makes sense.
And I think it's important to point out that the city has a seat at the table when we're writing these development documents and can guide those to accomplish what the city wants in the different areas.
Okay. Any other questions for staff?
I have a question. Would these changes be more conducive to developing more affordable housing?
It might be. I could see where that could happen. There might be a developer come along that had a smaller acreage. Let's say they had 4 acres instead of the 5, and partnering with the city and working with the city to develop different development regulations for that area, they might be able to do affordable housing where they couldn't. But on the surface, there's nothing to encourage that at this point. It would have to be in that relationship between the city and the developer.
So Carrie, to your point, I feel like there's an area, Franklin Street and Murray Avenue, there's a small lot right there that's it's undeveloped, and it's hard to do anything with, but it's that size underneath that. So I think that it would be something that somebody could come through and do a smaller PDD, townhomes, multifamily, something like that.
Or there might be a requirement for affordable housing in a larger, residential development or apartment complex or something like that. So yeah.
Okay. Thank you. Any other questions? And if not, would someone like to make a motion on RZ 2404?
I'll make a motion, we approve it.
Motion to approve.
Yeah, I'll second that.
Carrie will second. All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? All right, so that will go in front of City Council on March 11th as well. Moving along to new business. We will SD 24-1.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This application is for approval of the subdivision plat The zoning on this greater parcel is split between GC, which is general commercial, and RM 18. It's adjacent to the Beltline, so if you'll remember from late last year, these two parcels were before you, and they were annexed into the city. It's part of a larger parcel or development. Here I'm kind of outlining it, kind of comes across the Beltline right here and up in here. So again, just to help you orient, this is the Beltline connector. You can see the east-west connector, east-west parkway, excuse me. Off to the right-hand side, Sam's and Walmart, that complex is off the bottom of the screen right here. Everybody, well, it's right there. Does everybody know where we are?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So this parcel is split between GC, general commercial, in the red, and the RM 18 in the brown. And the applicant is proposing across both of those zoning districts a townhouse development with units on individual lots. The proposed townhouse development consists of what is allowed in the town, sorry, excuse me. Townhouses are allowed in both GC and RM 18, okay? This application, well, yeah, the applicant has provided this subdivision plat here, okay? And it is in compliant with the minimum requirements for a preliminary subdivision plat. Okay, so per the RM 18 district requirements, up to 557 townhomes can be built on this property. The attached plan shows 210 townhomes with over 1/3 or 13.45 acres of the land being open space. Okay? Now, please note that there was a mistake in the analysis portion of the written staff report, and that 13.45 acres was referred to as open space and tree preservation area. It's not. It's just open space. Again, staff recommends approval. The approval of the preliminary plat will be authorization for the developer to proceed under the supervision of the city engineer and with the preparation of construction drawings, installation of improvements, and staking of lots, etc.
Okay.
If there are any questions, I'm happy to answer them.
So where was the mistake on the analysis? The 13, it was not
Yeah,
13
I'll-
acres?
hold on, give me a minute to
It
get
is
there.
13 acres, but it's not tree preservation, it's just open space.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, just open space. All right, thank you.
It was referenced, yeah. It was referenced as open space and tree preservation. It's not. It's just open space.
So there's no reason to change any kind of zoning. We're just moving forward with the plat approval.
This
At this
is
time.
just an approval of this layout, and they can move forward again with engineering drawings and subdivision of the parcel
Okay.
with this approval. And as you may or may not know, it does not go to town council. This is your all's approval.
Correct. Is there any questions for staff? Any questions for applicant? Hearing none, would someone like to make a motion for the preliminary plat on SD 24-1?
So moved.
I'll second.
In a second. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? All right. So that will go to the engineering department now, say.
Yes.
Any other board business? I saw, yes. Did everyone receive this email earlier today about the March 19th? And then also to be able to RSVP to Mary Haley Thompson about being able to be there if you can. If you did not receive the email, reach out to me and I can forward it along to you. I think Maurice sent that out
It was late this afternoon.
late this afternoon.
So just a word to that, just note that, again, you all saw these articles 12 and 13 come through last year, and so this would be for the balance of the development ordinance revisions to that. So it's an important meeting to see what's going on.
Should be exciting. So with that being said, is there any other staff report, anything like that?
No, sir, not at this time.
All right, well, thank you for your time tonight, and we will consider ourselves adjourned.